What is up, Overwatch Odyssey? It's your boy Zoran coming back at you with another matchup here in round two. We have got XL2 Red coming up against University of Wyoming Steamboat. This will be a fun match between these two teams. I'm excited to see XL2 Red coming off a dominating performance against the Respawn Rangers and Steamboat, having a first week bye, hopefully using that time for preparation and eager to get things going off on a good start. Casting with me tonight, we have got a returning guest, Jolly Red Time. Jolly, what's up?
Not too much. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. I'm excited to see this matchup between these two teams. I'm excited to get things underway. It looks like starting things off, Jolly, we have got a ban from Steamboat. They will be banning Antarctic Peninsula as we are starting off on Control again tonight. And XL2 Red, being the home team, has selected Lijiang Tower yet again to start things off. And if you were here for that match against the Respawn Raiders, they had a very impressive hold and control, no pun intended, at Lijiang Tower last match. So hopefully on XL2 side, they're hoping to do that again. But both teams, I'm sure, are ready to go. We are confirming ready for both teams, and then we will get things underway. As far as these two teams, anything in particular on Lijiang Tower that you would expect to see from these teams?
Um, I mean, on gardens, you can run pretty much anything. On control center, you usually want to run something more like a brawl or rush kind of thing.
Sure.
So I don't know too much about XL2's red team. I know quite a bit about Steamboat's team as you've coached 4 out of 5 of them in the past. So I'm excited about this matchup. I'm excited to see how these players on Steamboat have evolved since I left. And I'm excited to see what XL2's red team is capable of.
Yeah, for sure. These teams, I have seen quite a bit of XL2's varsity, or sorry, Wyoming's varsity squad, and if that carries over into their other rosters, I'm excited to see some strength in that specific facet of the depth of their roster. Now looking at XL2 Red, again, I'm fairly familiar with XL2's main roster, but they kind of, mix things up a little bit between their teams as they also have 3 teams here in the season. And looks like we made a quick roster swap for the side of Steamboat, and I believe both teams will be ready as soon as we get the confirmation here from Steamboat. And there it is. We will be getting things underway again here at Lijiang Tower.
Now arriving at Lijiang Tower.
Alrighty, and starting things off, XL2 Red, switching things up a little bit. They did make a pickup between their last match and this match, so D's the rules. Looks like we'll be playing tank for XL2 Red. Anubis will be playing DPS. A7, who had a very dominating performance on tank last match, will now be playing DPS, and Archer and Sonic returning on the support line. For the side of Steamboat, we've got Earth Dragon on tank, Evian and Culinary Delight on DPS. We've got Dizzy Dami on support with Sugared Bunny. As comps are being selected, looks like Deez is going to be selecting Ball. They may be trying. Have you seen that? I'll say off meta. That's sort of becoming meta composition that XL2 Red's running. Have you seen this? Well, it looks like we're going to be seeing that Ball and Sim Torb combo for the side of Wyoming. Still not having picked heroes, and there it is. We're going to be seeing a Hazard Cast, Venture, Lucio, and Kiri. D's going to be jumping to point immediately, and with the help of the TP, XL2 Red will be there setting up all of the turrets as XL2 is really bearing down here on defense. there's the sleeve. Culinary Delight jumping in, getting a lot of damage, hoping to get that turret out. Torb turret is down, but Culinary Delight not able to get out. That's going to be the first pick for the side of XL2. Evian looking very low, does get antied, and A7 able to get Evian as well. And XL2 hoping to just chase the rest of Steamboat down. Sugared Bunny down as well, but Earth Dragon able to get the pick there on Sonic. Looks like it may be time to get a tackle. Respawn maybe hoping to get one of XL2 with him.
Yeah, that was a really unfortunate stagger there. The Steamboat team kind of just got pinched there in the white room.
Yeah, yep. And that pinch, I mean, exactly. I mean, sometimes when you look at ball and playing ball, it's not always about the stats in terms of doing damage, getting elims, but really distracting the other team. And I think that mobility really allows for a good pinch. Earth Dragon, though, moving in. DC Rules able to knock Dizzy off the point. Sonic getting very low again, but Culinary Light able to get Anubis, and again is going to be Earth Dragon alone on point. And that will be another successful defense there coming from XL2 setting up. Here on the outside, you see A7 putting the turret there on the table on the outside of point as opposed to on the point itself. Both times Steamboat has tried to come through the white room, and a comp change. Looks like Earth Dragon going to be swapping off of Hazard onto Ramatra. Oh, man, it looks like we have a disconnect here, so bear with us for a brief moment.
Yeah, I think Steamboat is worried about the ball booping them off the bridge, which is why they aren't contesting that angle at all. But this is just the threat of that is allowing XL2 Red Team to just control so many different angles, and Steamboat is having a hard time dealing with that.
Yeah, yeah. And again, I think that mobility and that disruption that Deez is causing is proving to be problematic, and kind of like what you were saying, almost tunneling Steamboat into that white room to try and push from that angle. So it'll be interesting to see if they can make that breakthrough after swapping to Ramatra here. I know Hazard is still, I say fairly new in terms of heroes, but that composition that we've seen that's become pretty meta does include Hazard, as Hazard is a pretty strong character. But ultimately, if it's not working, then you got to make some swaps to figure out what works best for your team. Looks like Archer has joined back. We will confirm the ready from everyone and resume the action. Alrighty, and we've got the ready from both sides, so we will be getting things underway. And one of the turrets is going down. That's going to be big. And Earth Dragon able to get Anubis down. Cole does go down. It looks like it's still a pretty even fight. Beat is going to be dropped for XL2, and unfortunately Steamboat is going down.
That's I mean that was a pretty dominant fight from XL2, but they had to drop 3 ults on that. So if Steamboat can touch again, okay, that was something.
That was something.
Then they should have a better ult economy here.
It looks like maybe A7 was hoping to stop Steamboat from getting to the objective, but maybe forgot about the other door. Still, unfortunately, Steamboat not quite able to touch here, and that will be the first round in favor of XL2 Red.
Yeah, I do think that they're going to have a little bit more trouble if they're trying to run a ball comp here on this point. Still possible, but it is a lot more challenging.
Yeah.
The other 2 Legion maps are much more friendly towards ball. I actually really liked, even though they obviously lost the round, I really liked the Venture pick into the comp that Red was running. But let's I mean Junkrat's really strong here too, so let's see how this goes.
it looks like they are still forcing that ball. And Evian able to get that first pick on Anubis here. That's going to be good. Steamboat going to have to push in here to really create that effectiveness. Archer going to be swapping to Zin. And D's able to get Evian here. And Sugar Bunny going down. Culinary going down. And XL2 going to be able to capitalize on that. There is a lot of, like you were saying, mobility restrictions here on this map as opposed to the others. D's really forcing off, able to get Evian off the map. And isolating Earth Dragon here into the mines, able to boop Dizzy into the mines as well.
I mean, Deez is just, he's clearly very, very well versed on the Wrecking Ball. Yeah, Steamboat needs to find an answer here.
As they're walking in, they are still, or were up one, but they did get Lucio, so Lucio is quick to getting back. A7 is going to be able to get Sugared Bunny. They are going to be using Transcendence here as well to try and maximize that damage. That's going to be another successful defense from XL2, but Steamboat getting very, very close to getting the objective here. That could have definitely been a point flip.
Yeah, XL2 is doing a really good job of playing their respective ranges and using their range well, so that it's making it hard for Steamboat, who's trying to play a much higher tempo composition here, to actually touch the back line.
That's a really good combination between Kitsune Rush and Annihilation there for Steamboat, and they are going to be able to capture the objective here. And Culinary with more mines. And then there is going to be ult coming from A7 as well. Sonic able to get Evian down, and they are just pushing into the back line of Steamboat. And Earth Dragon still there to contest. A7 maybe trying to push the Ramatra into those mines still on the point, but Anubis also using an ult. And that is XL2 Red coming away with the first map.
Yeah, I mean the ball Symmetra Torbjorn that we saw in the first round is something we've seen a lot, especially in the Korean circuit, in OWCS. It's a very interesting comp, and I'm, you know, I don't want to say surprised that we're seeing it here today, because it is obviously very strong. I'm just impressed at how quickly XL2 has grasped that meta, because I think like the first time we saw it was like a week and a half ago.
Yeah, yeah.
So for them to emulate it with this degree of success is actually pretty impressive.
Yeah, definitely. I did see actually another video somewhere, of course, on YouTube, talking like breaking down the composition and how it's played. And like you were saying, XL2 Red just did a very good job at executing this fairly new composition. But with D's on that wrecking ball, I mean, really effectively getting the elims, but also doing exactly what Wrecking Ball does and disrupting the flow of the other team.
Yeah, yeah.
So just looking at that map, Jolly, initially, what are some things that you think Steamboat could do in order to counteract maybe the pace that XL2 is trying to play?
I think if they cannot mirror something like this, they need to basically pick an extreme here. They need to pick either absorb the dive, try to punish the ball,
Mm-hmm.
and then surge forward, or they need to find a way to get on top of the backline, which means going faster, uh, using speed amp correctly, not wasting it anywhere. They're gonna need that in order to get on the backline because the Symmetra and the Torbjorn between the turret and like just how much space they're giving, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
It's so much ground that Steamboat has to cover to do anything to them. And the whole time that they're trying to do that, the Wrecking Ball is just putting on a clinic. Uh, I mean, there were so many times where I thought surely he dies here, and he got away with it. Um, so you know, they Steamboat needs to find either an answer for that for absorbing the ball and punishing it, forcing him out, or they need to uh, just double down on speed, play fast tempo, and get on top of the Torb, get on top of the Symmetra. Um, it just yeah, get
Yeah.
on top of the back line.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And as we're transitioning here to Map 2, so a reminder of the newer rules that we at the Overwatch Odyssey have adopted. So Steamboat, having lost the first map, will select between Hybrid or Escort, and then from there, XL2 Red will ban a map, and Steamboat will select a map from the map pool. So we will be um, waiting on Steamboat to select. They have selected Hybrid and maybe have shown their cards a little too early, accidentally putting Midtown in chat, and whether it was intentional or not, XL2 Red has opted to ban Midtown. So unfortunately, maybe working against Steamboat in that sense. Um, yeah, that's unfortunate, I would say. As we are waiting for the map pick then for Steamboat, I know you have a little bit of experience with these players on Steamboat, or a couple of them, you know them. Would you say that there's a hybrid map that maybe they would um, feel most comfortable with, aside from Midtown, now that it is banned?
A hybrid map that they would want. Let me think about that for a second here.
Yeah, for sure.
Shoot. Now I'm trying to think of all the hybrid maps.
Well, at least in the map pool here, we have got Hollywood, Midtown, Numbani, and Paraiso. So those are the four here in this map pool.
Um, I mean, I do feel like Steamboat is struggling with the ball, and I don't really see any of those. Honestly, all of them have a decent amount of open space that ball can capitalize on.
Sure.
So I'm not sure if there is something that they can run to help them deal with the tank. Um, but I think something more along the lines of maybe if they can. Yeah, I'm really not sure. I'm really not sure.
Yeah. Yeah. There is a lot, and it looks like they will be selecting Paraiso, which again may not play to the strength of not having to deal with the ball. We may be seeing a lot of ball tonight, so it'll just be a matter of whether or not they can shut that down. Um,
Yeah.
but go ahead.
No, I didn't really have too much to add there. I'm trying to think of because again, it's been about a year since I've coached any of these guys on Steamboat, so I'm not sure how much they've evolved and what their capabilities are. Um, but I personally would like to see them. They don't have to completely mirror, but I think they can they they could contest angles a little bit more, especially without the threat of the environmental kills that were present on Lijiang, especially on Gardens.
Sure.
Um, because I mean, I assumed at least at first that they were just avoiding bridge entirely because they didn't want to get booped by the ball. Um, but they still didn't do much in the way of contesting any angles. on Control Center either.
Sure.
So I think I would like to see them. They don't have to go on any deep flanks, but they do need to do a better job of marking angles, make it hard for the ball to engage without taking damage. Because the
Hmm.
ball's getting on top of them for free. He's already on top of them by the time he's taking damage.
Yeah.
So I think I would like to see more of that from them.
Yeah. And I almost threw us back into Lijiang, so I got to fix that real quick. And here we go into Pariso. Both these teams ready to go, and we'll be hoping to see if Steamboat will be able to shut down that ball like we were talking about, or if D's will still just have free reign there.
Initiating match.
Yeah, there's a lot of high ground on this map. I'm not a big fan of this map. I'm a little bit surprised, honestly, that this was Steamboat's pick, correct?
Yes, this was Steamboat's pick.
Yeah, I am a little surprised that anybody would choose this map personally.
Yeah, Pariso is definitely a tough map. One thing I would have to say, as far as Pariso goes, is if they're going to be running, and it looks like they won't be, but if they are running that double turret that they wanted to run there on Lijiang, it would have, I think, been very effective here as well.
Yeah,
But
I would agree.
But looking at that comp, so they aren't going to be playing with that double turret. They are going to be switching to a soldier venture with an Ana and an Iyari on the side of Steamboat. We've got that hazard again. We see a Soj, and now switching up to Ash and Junkrat with that Lucy Curie again.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming. Defend.
A good dynamite there from Evian. D's again just on the back line. Looks like Archer disconnecting again. We are going to have to pause again. Unfortunately, there's that bad internet.
I know a thing or two about that.
Before we were getting started, Jolly had warned me about some possible DCs on his end, so thankfully no internet issues there. But it looks like Archer has then inherited the internet issues that Jolly had feared.
I am so sorry to do this to you, Archer.
That is okay. Things going underway. And we will be possibly looking for a sub. Go ahead, though.
So I do think the venture, if I don't know if XL2 Red was expecting Steamboat to do a little bit more of like a mirror thing, maybe to try out the Torb sim, because I know venture is a good answer that I've seen, especially for the Torbjorn. But I would be interested to see how they deal with the spam and poke aspect that Steamboat is running here.
Yeah, yeah, and it looks like too. So we have opted to make a substitution for Archer, hopefully to mitigate some of these DCs. And so they have subbed, I believe it's pronounced Jada, into the support line for XL2 Red. With that being said, Jada's going to have to be making their way all the way to the fighting, or to the point here. So Wyoming is going to have a little bit of an advantage here. And Culinary is able to get A7, so they do still have that. But you see Pylon being dropped below. D's putting pressure there on Evian. Earth Dragon also very low. And Culinary able to get another. This still could be anyone's fight. Earth Dragon being alive still, but there are going to be some picks on the side of XL2. And with that pylon there, they are going to keep everyone alive, and XL2 still able to maintain control of the point here.
Yeah, that was kind of a that was kind of a big opportunity for Steamboat to at least get a tick. It's they gotta be feeling that one.
Yeah.
But I do like seeing that the Ashe is at least checking out the other angles here.
And D's gonna be, yeah, gonna be able to get Cole down with the mines, chasing Evian down into spawn, and able to get Evian there and spawn. So that's gonna be another pick. Again, D's just able to maintain that aggression and taking a bit of a an angle here, getting that sneaky spot. Meanwhile, the rest of XL2 holding that high ground pretty well, but going back. There's going to be A7 and D's both going in.
Yeah, that was a really well executed combo between D's and A7X.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I mean, D's being able to boop them up in the air and then having A7 follow up by coming out from Burrow is just a lot of damage for them to handle. And I like the pick there from Culinary Delight, maybe hoping to get a good off angle, yeah. And more mines here. D's able to get Bunny down, Anubis able to get Cole down. Again, this could be it though. This could be enough. Are they going to get these down?
Sombra swap here.
I don't, yeah, a lot of damage being thrown there at D's though. I do like that swap to Sombra though. Hopefully, really affecting the mobility of D's, but unfortunately, so far not doing just that.
Yeah, it definitely allows them to play more for catching the ball a bit. Yeah, unfortunately Evian did fall there early. Trying to recontest with Bob. Wow, that Bob just got shredded. Yeah, I think if they had made that swap to the Sombra a little sooner, they could have made something happen there. But like I was saying, like if they can't mirror this play style, it doesn't have to be like a compositional mirror, but if they can't mirror the play style, then they need to go either to the play slower and play to force the ball out and then make their move, or they need to play super fast and find a way to get on top of the back line.
Yeah.
But this like middle ground that they're trying to go for, it's just they're just getting poked really hard by the soldier. They're getting disrupted constantly by the ball. They're just in between all of the threats that XL2 Red has, and that's not where they want to be.
Yeah, I would agree. And just looking at, so Steamboat coming out on the horse, got an Orisa coming out from Earth Dragon. Evian going to be sticking with that Ashe, and Culinary Delight going to be playing Junkrat. I like the idea maybe for the traps, but I will say I think having that Sombra is very disruptive for D's. If nothing else, its sole purpose is getting those hacks on D's to prevent some mobility. But then we still have that Lucy carry for the side of Steamboat. It looks like XL2 Red is going to be swapping back to that. You said Korean origin, correct? For that ball double turret comp?
Yeah, that was where I first saw it. I think the first time I saw it was on Coliseo from Crazy Raccoon. I forget who they were facing, but it was, I thought they were trolling at first, but nope, it looks like it's just meta. Yeah,
and it looks like 2 early picks there for Steamboat. Only a tick needed. And they're going to have to do something about these. They can't forget about But Evian able to get that other pick. A7 answering back in Culinary Delight. D's very low. And Steamboat was in a really tough position where they have to prevent XL2 Red from getting even a single tick.
Not the hammer kill. Oh, 2 of them. At least they got the style points for it.
And that is going to be...
I thought he got the touch.
Double kill. Play begins.
I think that was a really good job on this side of Steamboat supports. They're in that play, and I saw it the first time when we were watching too. XL2 Red supports both able to keep Anubis up there. I think Earth Dragon definitely had an opportunity to eliminate Anubis, but both supports really coming in clutch right as Anubis was getting to critical. So well done to XL2's Red supports there in that play. But as we proceed, oh, go ahead, Jolly.
Yeah, they just did a really good job there, like just surrounding Steamboat and then collapsing the angles on them. It was just, it was just executed extremely well.
Sure.
Outside of just the supports, that was just well played.
Definitely. And now, so having lost a second map, Steamboat will now have the opportunity to pick the map for push. So there will be a brief moment here as Steamboat is hoping to get something rolling on their end and stop, I'll say, the rolling. I guess I was going for a weird pun with D's playing ball, but stop what XL2 is doing here in these first 2 maps.
Yeah, I would actually like to see an Esperanza pick here from Steamboat. But we'll see what they're cooking here. I mean, either that or probably Runasapi. Are those in the map pool?
Yeah, so in the map pool for push, we do have Runasapi, which has often been banned, but we do have Coliseo and Esperanza as well.
Okay, so just no New Queen Street.
Yep, no New Queen Street.
Okay.
We see some chanting here in chat. We've got Gigglebash saying, "Be aggressive, be aggressive."
That would help a bit. I would like to see a bit more aggression out of Steamboat.
For sure. And I mean, you said it yourself. I think just boiling it down to its most basic form of what you had said is it comes down to pacing. XL2 Red has done a very good job of controlling the flow of the game, and I think a lot of that comes from D's, but also just the play style that XL2 Red has. They've done a very good job of controlling the pace. So again, utilizing that speed boost from Lucio to really go, or setting the pace at their own and not allowing D's to be as disruptive.
Yeah, and they're playing their range really well. They're forcing Steamboat to make a choice, and so far they have not been decisive enough with that.
Sure.
I absolutely think that they can, but they need to get on the same page and they need to choose. Okay, are we going to chill for a second, force the ball out, then move? Are we going to play like kind of reactively? or are we going to, you know, path our find where we want to path to, and then driving towards it. Um, you know, you still have to shoot the ball. And I think that's one of the problems they were having on Lijiang especially, is that like they were almost like ignoring the ball, and the
Hmm.
ball was just getting way too much value as a result.
Sure.
Um, but they have to address the ball without chasing the ball, and that's a pitfall that I see a lot of players run into when it comes to heroes like Wrecking Ball or Tracer that are just living in the back line. Is that they overcommit to chasing.
Yeah. Yeah. So they'll have to do that. I know it also, and to be honest, I was doing graphic things, so I'm not sure if you had said that, so I apologize. But I'm just looking at also it applies to like a Doomfist, right? If you have a Doomfist going in, you have to either decide whether or not, hey, are we going to punish this Doomfist when coming in, or are we just going to kind of ignore it and try and push onto the backline, push onto the squishy, so to speak, in order to maximize that. But yeah, that'll be something for Steamboat to figure out if they're running that Lucy Kiri. If Deez is really pushing from the back using speed boost maybe to get in there and do that damage that they need to, and then turn their attention to Deez.
Yeah. Yeah.
And as we are getting ready, Steamboat has selected Runusapi for their map pick. We're waiting on ready confirmations, and then we will be getting things underway.
I'm excited to see how they play this. I think this is actually, even though it's a good ball map, I think this is actually a decent map for Steamboat here, because there's a lot of different ways that you can path to get on top of the other team's backline, and I think that's going to be important for them here.
Yeah, yeah. I could certainly agree with that. And push is one of those. Really, they need to get that advantage right at the beginning. They need to win that first fight because that I think in and of itself gives a really big advantage to that first team getting that initial progress. Not to say that it's impossible to come back, but I think that first team fight really is big in the push game mode.
Uh, where's it? Okay, sorry.
No, you're good. Looking at the side, so XL2 Red still picking out their team comp and what they want to do. On the side of Steamboat, we've got a Ramatra Bastion, we've got a May as well, and then we're going to be seeing a Lucy Juno on the side of Steamboat again. For XL2 Red, looks like we're going to be seeing a Ball Genji Venture, looking like a pretty heavy dive comp.
Yeah.
I think just looking at the rosters here, exactly what we were talking about. This is going to be something where Steamboat is going to be slowing down the pace, while it is quite evident that XL2 Red is going to be wanting to really push in. Anubis getting really low, but Earth Dragon still able to get the pick on Jada. Steamboat now up one. A7 looking like taking a lot of damage here, trying to get Evian down, but A7 is going to go down themselves.
Alright, so it looks like they did even up the fight with that pick on Sugared Bunny. Or Sugared Bunny.
And that is going to be Steamboat's fight. Well, at least it was looking like that. Deez really trying to make something of it. Dizzy looking very low. And Jada coming back in. Now no Fate, so Earth Dragon is going to turn their attention there.
Alright, we got people coming back from spawn now. Looks like it's favoring Steamboat. It was a really long fight.
And there's Anubis really wanting to apply pressure on Evian, and they're really wanting to shut Evian down because, I mean, just in the nature of Bastion, high damage output hero. And meanwhile, as Deez is chasing down the backline there, it looks like they're fighting for point, and XL2 able to get the point back in their control and starting movement.
Yeah, I do think that that the Ramatra chased a bit too much there, and I think just forcing the bot and getting that extra point would force the ball to come to him a bit more, or to
Sure.
get out. Um, he had the HP advantage, so it was a really close fight. But the ball was able to stall it out until people came back from spawn, and ultimately ended up winning the fight.
And XL2 able to swiftly win that fight as well, but Earth Dragon getting a pick of their own for Steamboat. The one thing I noticed, just spectating D's there before that fight went underway, it looks like XL2 is really doing a good job of pinging Evian on Bastion just to know where Evian is at all times, ensuring that they don't allow Evian to get as much value as Steamboat would like.
Oh, that's a massive pick on Shooter.
There's going to be Annihilation there from Earth Dragon, able to get Sonic down. A7 able to get Evian again. D is getting Dizzy down. Jada looking very low. Annihilation still going, but unfortunately with the high amount of damage with no support coming from 3 of XL2 Red's players, they will be able to stay alive and keep pushing the objective.
Yeah, that early pick on the Juno was it definitely gave XL2 a better chance, because I believe they were down 1 going into that because someone was still walking back from spawn.
There's gonna be Blade. Evian using artillery here, trying to get Anubis down, but Anubis able to get 2, able to get 3. Sonic assisting for number 4, and Earth Dragon going down. Again, another quick fight there for XL2. I did like the artillery attempt there from Evian, if nothing else, allowing that swap, now swapping to Soj, but D's there again putting the mines right there at spawn, getting an early pick, get another pick on Dizzy. D's able to get Evian down as well. Blizzard coming out for the side of Steamboat, but still very low. Sonic able to get, Earth Dragon able to get Sonic, but XL2 Red still pushing in. And we see the coalescence there from Jada. Jada able to get Evian as well. And with little under 5 minutes, XL2 able to close out the evening with a 3-0 victory.
Yeah, I mean, that was a pretty dominant performance there from XL2. They did just an excellent job of controlling the space, controlling the pace. I mean, D's here just did great on the ball. They just showed that they understood, the meta. They didn't just copy the comp that they saw the pros doing. They actually understood the meta. So that gives them a pretty big advantage.
Yeah, definitely. And I would say well played by Steamboat in several of those fights. And initially looking, maybe like you had said, pulling off or diverting attention too long on the ball there around health pack. But that first fight, I think, looked pretty good for Steamboat. Looked like it could have been anyone's game. But then XL2 remembering those first 2 maps and how dominating they were in those maps, bringing it back in together here on Runasapi and closing out the match between themselves and Steamboat. That will be a 3-0 victory for XL2 Red. Coming up the rest of this week, however, we have got a pending match, pending rescheduling between Texas A&M Galveston and Respawn Raiders, so that will not be tomorrow night. But on Tuesday night at 8 p.m. EST, we'll see Loot Boxers and XL2 Blue face off. In the meantime, XL2 Red will be having a bye week next week, and Steamboat will be facing off against Texas A&M Galveston. So those matches to occur next week. Steamboat having their match next Tuesday. Hoping to take what they learned here from this match. XL2 Red definitely going to be a force to be reckoned with here in Group B, and likely to be moving up to Group A if they continue this dominance in this first stage of the Overwatch Odyssey Season 2. Anything that you got just analyzing tonight's match? Anything additional that you would like to add, Jolly?
No, I'm just excited to see more from both these teams. I do think that Steamboat. I've worked with the majority of those players, and I know they're capable of great things. I don't necessarily think they had their best foot forward tonight, but it happens. Everybody has an off night, and I'm excited to see what they can do going forward. And that's not to take anything away from XL2 Red. I mean, what can you take away from them? It was a dominant performance.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. But like Jolly said, excited to see both of these teams back in action going forward for the rest of season 2 here. But until we see you on Tuesday, have a great rest of your evening and have a good start to your week tomorrow. GG's, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.